How to view data with the select statement. We're going to start learning some SQL now. We just ran some code to put some data in the database, so we're going to look at that data. The SQL language is a collection of keywords and syntax. You write a series of keywords to make up a statement, and then you run the statement. A statement can also be called a query, and it has multiple keywords. One of the most common keywords that we will use is the one that allows us to view data in the database. It's called the select keyword. The select keyword allows us to view data in a database, and it's probably the most common command or keyword, as we mentioned earlier. So what does this keyword look like? Let's take a look in SQL Developer. So here we are in SQL Developer. Your screen might look like this, or it might have something called the start page showing here. In any case, right-click on the connection name that you created earlier in this course. It should be called Intro. Then click on the Connect button. The database should be expanded on the left side here, and you should get a new query window on the right. If you don't get one, click on this white button here to create a new window. Now, when we write a select keyword, we're writing a select statement. It's a statement that performs a select. To do this, we start off with the select keyword. The capitalization doesn't matter. It will work in uppercase, lowercase, or mixed case if you're an MSN Messenger user from the early 2000s. I prefer uppercase. It makes it easier to see that it's a keyword and easier to read. So you enter in the word select. Then we press space. Now we need to specify what columns we want to see. Remember that diagram that we saw last lesson? It shows the column names. But what if you forgot the diagram or don't have it? You might not know the names of the columns. There's a simple way to just see some data for now. You can type in the asterisk character, which is Shift 8. It's an asterisk character, but it's commonly referred to in SQL as select star because it kind of looks like a star. It means show me all of the columns from the table. Now we put in a space and write the word from, which is another SQL keyword, and then another space. From allows us to specify what table to get the data from. We're going to use the employee table. Now in SQL Developer, it may pop up with this list here. SQL Developer has worked out you've typed in the word from and you might be looking for a table, and this list contains all of your tables. For now, we're going to enter in the name of the table manually. So type in the word employee. Now, after the star and before the word from, we've put a space. You can either put a space or start a new line. It doesn't need to be on a new line, but it's a personal preference of mine and it's what I recommend, as it's easier to see where the from starts, especially if you have multiple columns, as we'll see later in the course. Finally, at the end of the query, we put a semicolon. The semicolon is used to separate statements and to indicate the end of a statement. We don't need one here because we only have the one statement, but it's a good habit to get into and it's required for when you have more than one statement. Now, how do we see the results of this statement? We can run it. So to run the statement, we can click on this Run Statement button here. The results of this are shown at the bottom of the window here. You can also press this button here, which is Run Script, to run that statement. This will run your statement and output it in a text format in a separate tab here. It's useful in some situations, but for most of the queries, I'll be running it using this Run Statement command. So you can see the output in the regular table shown here. It shows all of the records in the employee table and all of the columns in the table. You can see the columns are shown across the top: employee ID, first name, last name, salary, department ID, and hire date. The rows are shown down the bottom here. The row number is shown here, then you have your ID number and all your values in each row. So that is how you write a select statement in SQL. Congratulations! you've just written your very first SQL query. You can run this query on the employee table on your database if you're following along with me. Try it on other tables and see what you get. To try it on a different table, we replace the word employee with another table name, such as department. Now click on the Run Query button again, and we'll see the output of that query, which is all the department IDs and department names. Next, we'll look at how to display specific columns instead of all columns in the table.